They were here one moment, gone the next. No sound, no struggle, no explanation. Just an ordinary day turned into a lifelong nightmare for families, friends, and entire communities. Across the world, thousands of people vanish every year. Some are found, many are not, and a select few disappearances become the stuff of legend. Cases so chilling, so utterly unexplainable, that they haunt investigators and true crime enthusiasts for generations. Tonight, on Chilling Mysteries, we're diving into the most haunting cold cases of all time. The men, women, and children who vanished without a trace, leaving behind only questions, heartbreak, and a chilling silence. Let's start with a name that has become synonymous with unsolved disappearances. Maura Murray. February 9, 2004, Haverhill, New Hampshire. 21-year-old Maura, a nursing student at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, crashes her car on a rural road. A school bus driver passing by offers help. Maura refuses, insisting she's called for roadside assistance. Minutes later, a police officer arrives. The car is locked. Maura is gone. No footprints in the snow, no sign of a struggle, no evidence to suggest where she went or who, if anyone, picked her up. In the days and weeks that followed, search teams combed the woods, rivers, and abandoned buildings. Helicopters scanned the landscape. Dogs followed her scent, but it led nowhere. 15 years later, Maura's case remains unsolved, her disappearance the center of endless speculation, internet theories, and desperate pleas from her family. Was Maura running from something, or someone? Did she orchestrate her own vanishing act, or is she the victim of foul play? The truth, it seems, is buried as deep as the New Hampshire winter. But Maura Murray is far from alone. Consider the mysterious case of Brandon Swanson. It's May 14, 2008, Marshall, Minnesota. 19-year-old Brandon is on his way home from a party. He calls his parents at 1:54 a.m., saying he's driven into a ditch and needs help. His father and mother drive out to find him, guided by Brandon's calls. He describes the landmarks he can see, lights in the distance, the sound of running water, but when they arrive, there's no sign of him. Brandon stays on the phone for over 40 minutes, calmly talking his father through what he sees as he tries to walk toward a town. Suddenly, he yells, "Oh, shit," and the line goes dead. His phone never reconnects. Despite exhaustive searches, no trace of Brandon has ever been found. No clothing, no body, nothing. Some believe he fell into a river, others that he encountered someone with bad intentions. But the case remains wide open, a classic example of a person vanishing in real time, their final words echoing in the minds of those left behind. Missing persons cases are often dismissed as runaway situations, especially when the victim is young. But as time passes and clues dry up, the tragedy becomes painfully clear. Take the case of Asha Degree. Valentine's Day, 2000, Shelby, North Carolina. 9-year-old Asha goes to bed like any other night. At 2:30 in the morning, her father checks on her, she's asleep. By 6:30 a.m., she's gone. No forced entry. No sign of abduction. What happened next is even more unsettling. Multiple motorists report seeing a small child walking along Highway 18 in the early hours, dressed in a white nightgown and carrying a backpack. A year later, Asha's backpack is found buried in a plastic bag over 26 miles away from her home. The contents are chilling. Her school supplies, a Dr. Seuss book, and a New Kids on the Block t-shirt, none of which belonged to her. Was Asha lured out of her room by someone she trusted? Did she leave willingly, only to encounter unimaginable horror? Her family is still waiting for answers, 2 decades later. Some of the most chilling disappearances are those of entire groups, not just individuals. In December 1948, the Sodder children of Fayetteville, West Virginia, vanished under circumstances that defy logic. On Christmas Eve, a fire breaks out in the Sodder home. George and Jenny Sodder manage to escape with 4 of their 10 children. 5 others are trapped inside, or so it seems. After the fire burns itself out, investigators find no trace of the missing children. No bones, no remains, nothing. The Sodders are convinced their children were kidnapped, pointing to a series of strange occurrences before the fire. A mysterious stranger asking about their fuse box, a ladder going missing from the yard, and a strange phone call just before the blaze. Theories range from mafia involvement to human trafficking, but the truth remains elusive. For decades, Jenny Sodder kept a billboard in her front yard, pleading for information. The faces of her missing children stared out at passing cars, silent witnesses to a crime nobody could solve. Disappearances don't just happen in remote areas or under the cover of darkness. Sometimes they unfold in the busiest places imaginable, right under the noses of hundreds of people. Take the case of Brian Schaefer. On April 1, 2006, Brian, a 27-year-old medical student, goes out for drinks with friends at the Ugly Tuna Saloon, a popular bar in Columbus, Ohio. Security cameras capture him entering the bar, chatting with friends, and, later, standing at the top of an escalator. But there is no footage of him leaving. He simply vanishes. No evidence of a struggle, no activity on his bank accounts or cell phone, and no sign that he ever left the building. Did Brian find a hidden exit, or did something far more sinister occur? The mystery only deepens when you consider the bar's layout. There are only two ways out, both covered by cameras. Was he murdered, his body somehow secreted away? Or did he, against all odds, manage to slip away and start a new life? To this day, Brian's disappearance is one of the most baffling cold cases in American history. For some families, hope comes in the form of cryptic messages and taunting letters. The case of the Springfield 3 is a haunting example. June 7, 1992, Springfield, Missouri. Two friends, Susie Streeter and Stacy McCall, graduate from high school and spend the night at Susie's house. When Susie's mother, Cheryl Levitt, returns home, all three women vanish, leaving behind their purses, keys, cars, and even freshly painted fingernails. The only signs of trouble? A broken porch light globe and a message on the answering machine that police described as strange. Over the years, anonymous tips, rumors, and even psychics have pointed to possible burial sites, but no evidence has ever been found. The case has inspired countless theories: a serial killer, a human trafficking ring, or even a police cover-up. But the answer remains locked away with the women known as the Springfield 3. Sometimes, a bizarre clue is all that remains. On the evening of July 13, 1996, 16-year-old Kristen Modafferi leaves her job at a coffee shop in San Francisco, promising coworkers she'll see them the next day. She never arrives. Her personal belongings are found in her room, untouched. Days later, a classified ad appears in a local newspaper. "Kristen, we miss you. Please call." Was it a desperate plea from her family, or a chilling message from her abductor? The investigation uncovers evidence of a mysterious man seen with Kristen the day she disappeared, but he's never identified. Decades later, her parents still search for answers, clinging to the hope that Kristen might one day walk through the door. Children aren't the only ones to simply vanish. Adults disappear, too. Sometimes in the prime of their lives, sometimes after a lifetime of routine. On June 7, 1995, in the quiet suburb of Boca Raton, Florida, 32-year-old Tiffany Sessions goes for an afternoon walk and never returns. Her car, wallet, and keys are left behind. Despite one of the largest search efforts in Florida history, no trace of Tiffany has ever been found. Over the years, suspects have emerged: a serial killer already serving time, a transient with a history of violence, but nothing has ever stuck. Tiffany's disappearance is a stark reminder that no one, no matter how careful, is truly safe from becoming a cold case. The world of true crime is filled with tales that defy explanation, but few are as bizarre as the case of Lars Matank. In June 2014, the 28-year-old German tourist is vacationing with friends in Bulgaria. After a fight at a bar, Lars injures his ear. He checks into a hotel alone, and begins acting erratically, calling his mother, claiming he's being followed. On July 8, Lars is captured on airport security footage sprinting out of the terminal, abandoning his luggage and disappearing into the surrounding fields. Despite international attention and exhaustive searches, Lars has never been found. Was he suffering from a psychotic break, or was he truly running for his life? His mother still waits by the phone, hoping for a call that may never come. Cold cases aren't limited by geography or time. Across the world, in Australia, the disappearance of the Beaumont children has haunted the nation for decades. January 26, 1966, Adelaide. Jane, age 9, Arna, age 7, and Grant, age 4, take a bus to the beach. They never return. Witnesses recall seeing the children playing with a tall, blonde man in a bathing suit. Despite thousands of leads, the case remains unsolved. The Beaumont children became a symbol of lost innocence, a reminder that evil can strike anywhere, even in the bright sunlight of a crowded beach. Their parents, now elderly, spent their lives searching for answers, but time has only deepened the mystery. Another case that continues to chill the public is the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. May 3, 2007, Praia da Luz, Portugal. 3-year-old Madeleine is tucked into bed while her parents dine at a nearby restaurant. Sometime between 8:30 and 10 p.m., she vanishes. The investigation is marred by missteps, false leads, and an avalanche of media attention. Suspects come and go, theories multiply, but Madeleine's fate remains unknown. Her picture, big eyes, blonde hair, became one of the most recognized images in the world. Hundreds of reported sightings, from Morocco to New Zealand, led nowhere. More than a decade later, her parents still maintain hope, and the world still wonders, what happened to Madeleine McCann? Some disappearances are so old that they feel almost like urban legends, passed down through generations. The case of Dorothy Arnold is a classic example. December 12, 1910, New York City. Dorothy, a wealthy socialite, leaves her home to buy a dress for a party. She's seen by acquaintances in Central Park and at a bookstore. Then she vanishes, never to be seen again. Her family, desperate for answers, hires Pinkerton detectives, offers rewards, and even consults mediums, but Dorothy is never found. Rumors swirl. Was she murdered? Did she run away? Or was she the victim of a botched abortion? Over a century later, the case remains as cold as the day she disappeared. In some cases, the missing leave behind tantalizing clues that only deepen the mystery. Consider the case of the Yuba County Five. February 24, 1978, Yuba City, California. 5 young men with intellectual disabilities attend a basketball game. They never return home. Days later, their car is found abandoned in the mountains, far from their intended route. Months later, the bodies of 4 of the men are discovered in a remote cabin. They had food, clothing, and shelter, but died of starvation and exposure. The 5th man, Gary Mathias, is never found. Why did they abandon their car? Why didn't they eat the ample supplies in the cabin? And what happened to Gary? The case, often called America's Dyatlov Pass, is a chilling reminder of how quickly the ordinary can become the unfathomable. Sometimes, a single cryptic clue is enough to keep a case alive for years. The disappearance of Leah Roberts is a haunting example. In March 2000, Leah, a 23-year-old college student, tells friends she's going on a road trip to find herself. Days later, her Jeep is found crashed in a remote part of Washington state. Inside, police find her belongings, cash, and a ticket to a Canadian ferry. But there's no sign of Leah. The only clue? A cat paw print pressed into the dust on her dashboard. Did Leah vanish voluntarily, or was she the victim of foul play? Her family still searches for answers, clinging to hope as the years slip by. Not all disappearances are high-profile cases. Some slip through the cracks, their stories told only by those who refuse to give up. In 1995, in the small town of Tionesta, Pennsylvania, 17-year-old Amy Billig vanished while hitchhiking to her father's office. Her mother, Susan, spent decades following leads across the country, receiving taunting phone calls and cryptic letters from someone claiming to know Amy's fate. Was Amy the victim of a biker gang, as some letters suggested, or did she simply vanish into the night? Susan died without ever knowing the truth, her relentless search a testament to the pain and persistence of those left behind. The chilling reality is that, for every Maura Murray or Madeleine McCann, there are thousands of others whose names we'll never know. People who vanished without a trace, their stories lost to time, their families left with nothing but questions. These cold cases captivate us not only because of their mystery, but because they tap into our deepest fears. That anyone, anywhere, can disappear, and that sometimes, no matter how hard we look, the truth remains out of reach. Why do some cases capture the public's imagination, while others fade into obscurity? Maybe it's the eerie clues left behind, the suddenness of the disappearance, or the sense that the answer is just out of reach. Or maybe it's because these stories remind us that life is fragile, that the boundary between ordinary and extraordinary horror is razor thin. What makes these vanishings so chilling isn't just the lack of answers. It's the silence that follows, the birthdays missed, the empty chairs at the dinner table, the restless nights spent wondering if a loved one might walk through the door. For the families, the not knowing is a wound that never heals. For investigators, the trail grows colder with every passing year, evidence fading, memories dimming, hope flickering but never fully extinguished. But sometimes, all it takes is one new clue, one witness coming forward, one piece of technology that didn't exist when the case went cold. DNA advances, new investigative techniques, and the power of social media have reopened cases once thought unsolvable. Families who once suffered in silence can now share their stories with the world, keeping hope alive that someone, somewhere, will remember something. If you know anything about any of these cases, or have information that could help bring closure to families still searching for answers, please contact your local authorities. And if you found these stories as chilling as we do, please subscribe to Chilling Mysteries for more deep dives into true crime's most haunting unsolved cases. Leave a comment with the cold case that haunts you the most, and let us know if there's a mystery you want us to cover next. Until then, stay safe, keep your eyes open, and remember, sometimes, the scariest mysteries are the ones that start with someone simply vanishing without a trace.